I'm going to read from this book, Chapter 1. What is an archetype? I don't know. What is it? I'm not reading the introduction. What is an archetype? The physical world is simply archetypes. They appear frozen in time. Movement is archetype in motion. Every shape in existence is an archetype on some level. Every square, box, rectangle, circle, triangle, pyramid, and so forth is really an archetype. This is why books that teach people how to draw are full of geometric shapes. Everything is based on archetypes, or these geometric shapes. Dreams are filled with archetypes. When you dream, you receive these archetypes directly from your oversoul and the mind of God. But since your conscious mind does not know how to interpret them, it assigns symbols that you can't understand. For example, a pink circle becomes a pink tabletop. A brown line becomes a tree. A blue oval becomes a lake. When you know how to understand the archetypes, these messages you receive from the source become easier to interpret. Letters of the alphabet are also archetypes / shapes. These letters, shapes, represent specific sounds. The sound is a tone or frequency. Everything that exists is based upon color, tone, and archetype. Shape. For example, why an apple is an apple and not something else? Because an apple has a specific geometric shape, color, and specific tone / frequency that can only be outpictured in a specific way. The apple. Every area of the world has food that is indigenous and unique to that place. It is easy to forget because now almost every food can be found somewhere. Go into any supermarket in any country and you will find many of the same foods. Yet if you go to smaller markets, you may be able to find some indigenous foods. Sometimes locals spend time hunting and gathering foods unique and specific to their specific locale. As with all things, food is a frequency. Frequency outpictures the physical reality. When it passes through a specific geometric shape, archetype, this is actually very simple to understand. Frequency is the energy stream that pours forth from the God mind. The flow of energy stream creates sounds, tones, just as different just as different water flows have different sounds and tones. A small creek, underground spring, raging river, raindrops, frequencies, flows have specific sounds and tones. The sounds and tones of the flowing frequency generates archetypes. As the flowing frequencies pass through the archetype, it pops out the symbol of that specific energy stream into physical reality. Non-physical must have a gateway into the physical. This is exactly what sexuality is about. Male frequency is key. It combines with the female frequency to allow the non-physical into the physical. Thus, the reason for sexual ritual to create physical reality. When you understand the language of hyperspace, which is the original language that emanates out of God mind, consisting of color, tone, and archetype, you too can consciously rearrange your archetypes to arrange your mind patterns. This means that you can now consciously create your world, rather than feeling like the world creates you. How do archetypes take shape? Think of pushing cookie dough through a cookie press. The raw dough is directed through a tube with a cutout shape or archetype. When the cookie dough is squeezed through the cookie press, out pops a cookie in the same shape as the cutout. If you did not understand this process, looking at the finished cookie would make you wonder how the cookie arrived with that specific shape. Oops. If you looked at only the raw lump of dough beside the cookie, you might wonder how that lump of dough ever turned into this delicious, edible cookie. The same is true of all that exists. What kind of energetic cookie did the frequency flow pass through and create the shapes that exist in this reality? Archetypes are cutouts in the cookie press that the frequency flows must go through to arrive into the physical reality. Archetypes are the portal from the non-physical that frequency flows must pass through into the physical world. Archetypes take their shapes from the mind patterns of the people who exist in this reality. Why does this reality exist? Because people who are here agree that it does. Everyone sends out like frequencies, flows with their minds, create this reality. When the frequency flows are pulled out of an idea in the physical reality, then that part of physical reality disintegrates or disappears. For example, like an abandoned building. What caused the building to become abandoned in the first place? The people agreed the building was no longer necessary. Once they moved out and took their mind pattern with them, the building ceased to exist. Dust to dust and ashes to ashes. It is on its way out of the physical form. Anything that is abandoned eventually disintegrates unless more energy and thought is directed into it. When you realize this process, all that you do is mentally form an archetype cutout. When then attracts the specific frequency flow to coalesce from non-physical reality into physical reality. Chapter 1 and 2. We'll begin reading chapter 3 on the next setting of video time.